enabled, you need them on layer 2. The best and quickest and cheapest option to do that is to send your tokens into your VeVe OMI wallet. Now, this is available for Android users in the app. If you go to your settings and your wallet, you can toggle the OMI wallet on and off. For iOS or Apple users, you need to access your OMI wallet through the web wallet, which the address is omi.veve.me. I'll post the official links later anyway, and they're in our articles. Now, if you haven't used the web wallet yet, the login is the same as your VeVe app login. You enter your email and password, you should receive a 2FA email, and then you'll see your gem balances and you'll be able to access your in-app OMI wallet. Now, if you send your OMI tokens to that wallet prior to the migration date, we will automatically swap them to layer 2. Once they're there, they stay as layer 2 tokens unless you bridge them back to layer 1. Now, I haven't released an article on the bridge yet, but that will be available through the web wallet as well. Again, that is omi.veve.me. And all you're really doing when you're bridging is depositing to layer 2 or withdrawing to layer 1. I'll put out a more detailed explainer. It's a relatively simple process. Now, layer 2 OMI, which is the in-app OMI that you can use within VeVe. That's for things like staking, the OMI drop raffle, peer-to-peer transactions in the market. All of those things, will use OMI in the app, and they need to be on layer 2 in order to do that. It's important to know that because you cannot withdraw from your VeVe wallet directly to another cold storage wallet or directly to exchanges. There will be a process to bridge in between. So really the decision that most people will need to make is how or where would I like to use my OMI tokens in the future? If you want to sell them on exchanges or trade them, you need them on layer 1. So send them to an exchange before the migration date. If you want to stake or use them to purchase collectibles within VeVe, you need them on layer 2. Send your tokens into your VeVe app. That's basically the simplest explanation of those two things. The third option is a swap site. Now, we have built a token swap site that allows you to literally swap your tokens from GoChain OMI to the new ERC20 or Ethereum OMI. I'll put out those instructions later today. It's a detailed walkthrough guide, but that swap site will not go live until the last week of January. So first and foremost, please be wary, please be careful of anything offering to swap your tokens for you or any other service. It is 100,000% a scam. Okay, the swap site is the only way for you to manually swap your tokens. And that swap site will be available indefinitely. So you do not need to rush as soon as it opens to swap your OMI tokens. In fact, if you do, it's likely that the site will take much longer to distribute. Gas fees may be higher, all of those things. So it's probably in your best interest to swap at a later time. Now, who would want to use the swap site? Basically, if you've missed the migration window, right? I understand not everybody pays attention to these announcements. Now, obviously, everyone has shown up today to learn about this. Chances are you have friends and family who also hold OMI tokens. Maybe they're not as up to speed on crypto or on our announcements, and they may just completely miss all of this. But they can use the swap site at any time to go through that process and switch their tokens. The second group of people who may want to use the swap site is anyone who holds the wrapped OMI token. So I think it was around April last year, we created an ERC20 version of the token in order to provide the tokens on Uniswap. And that wrapped token can also be swapped to the new Ethereum OMI token through the swap site. Anyone who holds that token has probably used our swap site in the past, and that process is exactly the same, but I will detail it in the walkthrough guide. The last group of people who would probably prefer to use the swap site over sending their tokens to the exchange are those that are more security conscious. So, exchange hacks are rare these days, but they do still happen. And as always, we never advise leaving large sums of money or value or tokens on an exchange. So anyone who is particularly security conscious or would prefer to send directly from their own wallets and receive back to their own wallets the swap site would be the most appropriate option for you. You just need to bear in mind that using the swap site will cost you both Go tokens as gas and Ethereum tokens as gas. On the Go side, it's relatively inexpensive, but the Ethereum side right now is quite expensive. The network is pretty congested. I think we're over sort of 200 Gwei. And swapping these tokens is a higher order transaction. So it typically costs more in gas than a wallet to wallet transfer. So you are probably looking at today's prices at somewhere between maybe around $100 gas, maybe more, to process a transaction through the swap site. So it's just important to be aware of that, depending on your financial situation, depending on your personal security parameters, as to which option is best for you. Now, for most users, I think a combination of sending some tokens into your app and sending some tokens to an exchange will make the most sense. Right? I think a lot of users will probably split their tokens that way. I personally will be using as many tokens in the VeVe app as I can, but I will also keep some that I can move around on exchanges if I choose to. And I can always bridge between them later if I change my mind. So I think from this, we really want people to understand those two options more than anything, and understand which one is best for them depending on how you would like to use your tokens. Now, I think another thing that's important to point out is that the OMI features within VeVe aren't available yet. So really, you're sending tokens into your VeVe app wallet in preparation for those features as they roll out over the coming months. But outside of that, they're really the core things to understand there. Alex, was there anything that you think needs clarification on that front?
No, I think maybe I know there are a lot of people who have sent their OMI to either a app wallet or cold storage.
Yes.
Maybe if you want to run through that real quick.
For sure. So anyone who is currently holding OMI tokens in their own wallet, say Trust Wallet or the Secure Wallet or MetaMask or any of those things, you will need to participate. Okay, those wallets don't have access to any sort of swap feature. So you will need to make a choice and either send your tokens to an exchange before the migration date or into the VeVe app wallet. Because OMI is currently on GoChain, you need Go tokens to use for gas to send your OMI tokens from your personal wallet to whichever destination you choose. Now, Go tokens are pretty inexpensive. They are available on a lot of exchanges. I have probably a small bag left that I can happily send out to people. And I'm sure plenty of people in the ECOMI Telegram are probably in the same boat. Now, you really only need one token. GoChain is pretty cheap. One Go token should get you about 5 transactions. So you don't need a lot, and they're only sort of, I don't know what the current price is, but I'm assuming less than 5 cents at the moment. If you purchase them on an exchange, it is likely you will need to purchase $5 worth or $10 worth. There's probably a minimum purchase amount. So try the ECOMI Telegram first. That's t.me/ECOMI. And someone may gift you a token. And otherwise, you just need to acquire some Go tokens to use for gas. So yeah, to sum that up, if you store OMI on your own wallet, which is one that you hold the private keys for, you will need to send your tokens somewhere. Again, if you miss the migration window, you can always use the swap site later. It will just cost you more money to do so. Did that clarify things, Mr. Alex?
Yeah, thank you very much.
No problem.
Anything else to cover before we, I think we might punt it over to John, who is our resident OMI mod,
Yep.
if you will.
Yep.
But yeah, did you want to cover anything else in terms of, must know before we kind of open it up to questions from the voice chat and audience?
I think that covers the basics. All of this information is already available on the ECOMI blog. As I said, I will release that token swap walkthrough later today, which you can read through, but it won't be as applicable until that token swap site is live. But there is an FAQ section at the bottom of each of those token swap articles to try and help you decide which is the most appropriate option for you. If you're looking to send tokens into the VeVe app and you're wondering how many tokens, it really depends on, one, the size of your bag, I guess, and two, what you plan to do with them. So we currently have 3 staking tiers available, and there will be 2 higher order tiers as well, which should give you a rough idea as to how many tokens you might need in there. But again, remember that you can always switch them back to layer 1 or from layer 1 to layer 2 at a later date. So, it's not crucial that you make the exact right decision now. It's more thinking about it ahead of time will save you money. That's probably the most crucial point to understand there. But outside of that, that's what I before. Yeah.
Okay. All right. With that, let's, John, if you wouldn't mind, since I know you hang out mostly in the OMI chat channels, can you maybe give us a few questions that either from yourself or from the community, and then Granola and I will work on asking some questions from the voice chat channel, as well as bringing some people up on the stage, if that's cool. John?
Yeah, absolutely. And
Perfect.
Reese, thank you for that thorough walkthrough as we got prepared for the token migration. One of the things you touched on, which I think will be important, would be as people prepare for the as they prepare for the migration, for each token holder to have a clear plan on what they plan to do with their tokens, because that influence whether or not they'll move them to an exchange or use the swap site. One thing that I've seen come up on, not just within our Discord server, but just on other social channels, et cetera, especially those who are well versed in the crypto space, is just the general security around the VeVe app. Meaning,
Mhm.
at currently we have 2FA via email. So, can you speak to that a little bit? I plan to, send my bag into the VeVe app and also participate in the token swap. But can you speak to the security measures the VeVe team has, as people will be sending large amounts of OMI into it to get prepared for staking and other forms of utility?
Yeah, absolutely. So the VeVe in-app OMI wallet and that security is similar to an exchange, really. We as a company hold the private keys that protect and access all of those wallets. Um, so that security is the highest level of security it can be. Multi-sig wallets. Our CTO has been on top of the game since the start of this project, and there are very few people who have access to any of those things. So the VeVe wallet is as secure as any sort of online wallet. The thing that's important to understand and for people to pay attention to is their personal security. So people should really be treating the VeVe app and frankly their phone as one of their most precious financial instruments or assets. So aside from the 2FA that lets you access your account, you should have a PIN code on your phone at the very least, using Face ID. Don't leave your phone open. Don't leave your email apps open or access to 2FAs. Change your passwords regularly and change them to a strong password or use a password manager. All of those personal security practices should be front and center for your VeVe app, as well as any other financial instruments that you use. But from a company side, the VeVe app is as secure as it possibly could be. And there is no way that anyone can access your funds unless they have access to your device and your 2FA.
That's awesome. I think what's been, encouraging and really unique about the VeVe community, especially for token holders, a lot of people have gotten into crypto, have gotten into OMI via VeVe, right? So,
Mhm.
given the, as you're aware, the low barrier of entry, using, projects like OMI and how it will be utilized in VeVe. Given the low barrier of entry there, there's a large amount of token holders who aren't well versed in the space. So
Mm,
this is super helpful, just so that they can be reminded of, being their own custodians and, practicing due
absolutely.
diligence, making sure that, their devices and other forms of communication are secure.
Yep.
One another thing as it relates to token migration is some of the distinctions between L1 and L2, right? And you touched
Mhm.
on that a little bit. Can you speak to that a little bit more, and then also as Ethereum in general prepares for ETH 2.0 sometime in the future, as you guys went into making this decision, partnering with IMX and the scalability features and all of the benefits that comes with. Can you one speak to the difference again between L1, L2, and secondly, why VeVe slash ECOMI chose to, onboard going into L2 as opposed to waiting for ETH 2.0?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'll try not to get too far into the technical weeds here. But L1 or layer one Ethereum is Ethereum as everybody knows it. It's the Ethereum blockchain that you see on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko or any exchange, and the native token is ETH or ETH, depending on how you pronounce it, ETH. Layer 2 is the next development of this kind of cryptographic technology. So IMX uses what is called a roll-up, which essentially lets you bundle a lot of transactions off-chain and then commit that one piece of information on-chain, which would be back to the Ethereum layer. And what that does is massively increase the efficiency of transactions. There's no gas fees because a lot of those transactions happen off-chain. And the environmental impact is obviously significantly reduced there for the same reason. So layer one is the Ethereum chain, the existing Ethereum chain. Layer two is almost like an app, right? And maybe that's the easiest way to think of it. If you think of layer one as your phone, as your iPhone, and IMX as an app on your phone. And that's how you kind of increase efficiencies there. Now, we chose IMX for a number of reasons. First and foremost, exposure to Ethereum. Ethereum is the most decentralized and secure blockchain that exists, which means that porting to Ethereum adds incredible layers of security to your assets and to your NFTs. So that was first and foremost, security and decentralization. The second reason, huge reduction in environmental impact. We don't really face that issue on GoChain, but GoChain also is not interoperable with any other sort of app or platform. And that is really the third core reason as to why we chose to move to Ethereum and to move to IMX, and that's the interoperability of your assets, which, if anyone is new here, means that you can send them between marketplaces or send them to your own wallets to be able to store them, all of those kind of things. So those features aren't available yet, but they will be sometime in the near future. So they're the core reasons that we moved, and hopefully that explains the difference between layer one and layer two without getting too technical.
Yes, that is super helpful. And we could, spend some time being technicians here, but we won't do that.
Yeah.
But that is, I think, especially for individuals who got introduced to crypto via VeVe, having understanding the distinction between L1 and L2, and as you mentioned, the ZK rollup technology, which if no one's familiar with it, I highly encourage you to read up on it. I think it'll give those who are interested better appreciation for why the ECOMI team chose to go with IMX, which
Yeah,
it just makes a lot of sense.
for
One more
sure.
follow up. Go ahead, Reese. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's probably also important just to acknowledge that, blockchains and ZK rollup technology, this is all very new technology. So we're in our own transition, but so is the underlying technology, right? So these layer twos are really just starting to come online and have in the last sort of 5 or 6 months. And eventually all of the user experience, regardless of whether you're using VeVe, anyone using Ethereum or any other network that's built on top of it, will eventually go straight to layer two. So this layer one, layer two conversation won't be part of the conversation for that much longer. It just happens that it's important to understand now because there are so many technological innovations taking place in the background.
Perfect. Yeah, I was trying to set that up as a leading question for you. I'm glad you touched on that. That's
Appreciate
great.
it.
So we have I'm looking through voice discussion, and I know there are certain questions being asked.
Mhm.
So I'm just gonna touch on a few of these, Reese, if that's okay with you, and then Alex or Granola, feel free to jump in. So there's I've seen this. It connects to what I mentioned before in terms of authentication, but some users do have concerns around the email 2FA. Again, we already addressed that, but are there any plans of introducing the authenticator app, like by say Google, into VeVe for an
Yeah.
additional security point?
Yep. Yeah. There's definitely plans to. I'll be honest in saying it's not as high on the priority list at the moment,
Right, right.
because from a functional standpoint, if I have your phone and have access to your phone, well, then I have access to your email or your authenticator app. So it's not necessarily providing a different layer of security. And I think that's why the onus of personal security really needs to be driven home. You really need to look after your device or your assets in order to protect that account. But we are definitely looking to implement other forms of 2FA just to make it simpler to understand. The other thing, the email 2FA is the most universal that we could use. If you're in crypto or you've been around for a while, the Authenticator app is probably familiar to you. But if you are new to crypto or any of these kind of processes or procedures, you probably have no idea what Google 2FA is. And I know a lot more sites are starting to use it now, but it hasn't been that prominent a form of 2FA. So the email was the most ubiquitous we could use, but we will definitely look to implement your Face IDs and fingerprint scanners and those kind of things as well.
That's awesome. And I'm sure that will, bring solace and,
Mm-hmm.
comfort for some people. But as you said before, as we've discussed, we're in so many ways you're owning your own keys, your own private custodian. You are essentially your own bank. So
Exactly.
it's each individual's responsibility to make, the right decisions for their own personal security, as you
For,
mentioned.
for sure. And look, I know we all get lazy. I know no one actually changes their password weekly or fortnightly or whatever. But if you're holding a lot of value and these assets or these tokens are important to you or make a difference to your life, you should be. That should be a regular security practice, and that's why we recommend using a password manager. You don't have to think about it; you just alter the passwords every now and again. So, just a recommendation there more than anything.
Yes,
Cool.
absolutely.
Quickly from our man on the ground here, Puddin Cheeks, can you
Mm.
address or mention that about withdrawal from VeVe wallets back to layer one, and that they may be delayed for a period of time? Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, yeah. So we need to make a distinction here. If you send your tokens to your VeVe app wallet, we will automatically swap them to layer 2. Once they're there, you cannot withdraw them directly to layer 1. So you can't send them, once the migration has taken place. I should make that clear. Pre-migration, if you send your tokens to your VeVe wallet, if I do it right now, I can withdraw them 5 minutes later. That's no problem. Once the swap happens and your tokens are layer 2 tokens, you cannot send them directly to an exchange. You cannot send them directly to your own wallets. You can't send them to Trust Wallet or MetaMask or anything like that because they are layer 2. So through the web wallet, which is omi.vv.me, we will open what is called a bridge. Now that bridge lets you withdraw your tokens from your VeVe wallet to layer 1, which you can then use on exchanges or send them elsewhere. Conversely, if you have your tokens on an exchange after the migration or in your own wallets, and you want to use them in VeVe when staking is available or to transact in the market, you will need to bridge the other direction. So you'll go to the VeVe wallet, connect your MetaMask, and you'll be able to deposit into your VeVe wallet. Now, at the moment, that is the only way you can do it. You can only do it through our web wallet, through our bridge, because we have built it to serve that function. Eventually, exchanges will let you onboard directly to layer 2 or directly to Immutable. And when that is available, there will be other options. But for the immediate short term, the OMI web wallet is the only way you'll be able to go from layer 1 to layer 2 and back again.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and bring somebody up from the crowd. I know I kicked you earlier, Kay, so let's bring you up. Let's see, we'll bring somebody else up as well. Oh, just for people who are newer to the Discord, please make sure if you're on mobile that you have push to talk enabled. Sometimes the audio gets a little funky here with the big rooms on this Clubhouse. That said, hello, Kay. How are you?
Hey, Alex, I'm good. How are you doing, Alex? Reese?
Software engineer
Well,
K,
thank you.
welcome.
Yeah, it's been a while on the Discord. Been
Nice.
faces, yeah. I was starting to miss Discord. Yeah, so I just had a kind of a very general question. So right now, if I were to send OMI to VeVe whilst everything's on GoChain, it's all good. I've been able to successfully send OMI back and then back to my exchange wallet, no issue. I just wanted to ask, with I guess right now with GoChain, fees are like, pretty much non-existent. But with the migration, if I was to have OMI on my, wallet within VeVe, if I was to then send that out, would there be any kind of visible fee within VeVe for doing that, or would like the gas fee be made explicit within the VeVe app? Or I'm just asking, would there be any feed for the user that they can explicitly see?
Yes, yeah, there will be. So the only way that you will be able to send it out after the swap is through the web wallet. And in order to move from your VeVe wallet to another wallet, it will use MetaMask, at least initially. And to process that transaction, MetaMask will give you the gas fee. It will also be available on the web wallet, but you won't see it in the app on your phone, as that functionality is not available in the app.
Right. Okay. So just extending on that. So in the case of I've got OMI on my VeVe app within the wallet, extending to the concept of OMI to NFT, if I was to send some of my OMI to someone in exchange for their NFT, because that's still a transaction, I know that we have the 2.5% fee, but that's for the burn, is cover the gas of me sending OMI from one person for myself to that person for the NFT, or is that going to be covered by VeVe, or is that like just a non-explicit fee?
Yeah, non-explicit fee. That's because all of those transactions happen on layer 2, which are gasless transactions. There shouldn't be a fee involved. If there is, it would be a fee on the fee. Yeah. So it should be, if anything, it would come out of the transaction. But IMX is gasless transactions, so that's not any transactions that happen within VeVe on layer 2 should be gasless.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay, that pretty much covers it. Cool. Thank you.
No problem.
All right, thank you, Kay. Let's move over to Buck Nasty.
Yeah, that was literally both of my questions that I had. So
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
Good to see you, mate.
So you guys will be posting the new contract address for the ERC20 on the Medium article, right?
Yes, yeah. So the token walkthrough guide, I'll post it later today. As I mentioned earlier, it's not going to be as relevant until people can actually see the swap site, but it will let you walk through, and that does have the new ERC20 contract address in there. Now, one thing I will say, especially to anyone who is new to crypto, and just a reminder to anyone else, if you're using the swap site, you'll need to use MetaMask. You'll need to add, either if you don't use it already, the existing GoChain OMI and GoChain network. You will also need to add the new Ethereum OMI token. When people go through this process, it can be really easy to make a mistake and accidentally send tokens to the contract address instead of to your wallet address. And when you're copying and pasting a lot of things, it can become a jumble. It's really important to understand that if you send tokens to a contract address, you have effectively burnt them. We don't have access to them. You've sent them to a dead address. They can never be retrieved. So whenever you're adding custom tokens to MetaMask or doing any of those transactions, that's why you triple check the addresses that you're sending them to. So just be conscious of that when you're going through the process. Only send small test amounts first. I know that's hard on Ethereum because gas fees are high. But trust me when I say you'd rather lose $50 than 5,000. So just be conscious of those kind of security parameters. I have put that in the article as well, so people are aware. But yes, I will release that, and it does have the new ERC20 OMI contract in it.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
All right, thank you, Buck. John or Granola, any more questions from the voice chat before we move on to Carlos?
Oh yeah, we've got loads.
Let's go one or two.
Let's see. Somebody wants to know if after the migration, if you buy OMI token on an exchange, will you still be able to send it to your web wallet?
Not straight away. You have to bridge. So you buy it on an exchange, you'll have to swap. Yeah, so it's not a swap from that point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a bridge. So it's the same OMI token, but it exists on 2 layers. And because all of these functions are actually executed by contracts, you need to deposit from layer 1, which is the exchanges, to layer 2, which is the app. And you'll do that through the web wallet. So post-migration, if you're buying on an exchange, you can use your tokens on an exchange. You can send them to your own wallet. You can store them in Trust Wallet. You can store them in the Secure Wallet, those kind of things. But to use them in the VeVe app, you'll have to bridge. Now, for a lot of people, that might make the most sense. You just send them to an exchange, have them swap the tokens, send them back to your wallets until you can use them in the VeVe app, right? And once that's available, you may choose to deposit your tokens or bridge them to use within the app. The only thing is you'll have to pay gas fees when you do it. So really preparing ahead of time is just the cheapest possible way you could do it. But it's very likely that people will need to swap between layer 1 and layer 2 in the future for any particular reason. Yeah, just good to be aware of.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And let's see here. There's so many questions.
Let's go with yeah, let me bring Carlos. Kind of fell off. Let me see if I can get him back up. Carlos, you there? You may need to do push to talk if you're on mobile. Okay, we'll move on until he figures it out.
Go through some of these questions.
Another question from voice chat.
Yes, let's see. I mean, there's so many, but they're also being answered at the same time.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. So there's one here.
Through a lot of those.
For sure. So I can see some people saying, basically, do you trust leaving your OMI on the exchanges? Now, again, this goes back to your personal security parameters. We never recommend leaving large values of money or value or tokens on an exchange. Right? While they all have up-to-date security, I think most people holding OMI tokens would have seen that Ascendex, one of the exchanges that OMI is available on, did get hacked a month or 2 ago, and those deposits were disabled for a short while. So when it comes to leaving tokens on an exchange, never recommended. When it comes to sending your tokens to the exchange prior to the migration date, I personally would be doing it within a few days of the date. You don't necessarily have to send them there today. We will announce the date that it's taking place, so you'll have time to prepare. So that really that's your own risk parameter there. But it's not something you have to do this very minute for the migration taking place in a couple of weeks.
Awesome. Here's another one. Will OMI that is transferred from or to level 2 technically burn any of the level 1 supply, the layer 1 supply?
All of the underpinning token processes, like the burn and the vault and things, stay exactly the same. So those tokens will continue to burn the same values that they do now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Mark, what's up, bud?
Hey, Alex. Hey, Reese. I'm not sure if this question was answered already, as I just joined. But I wanted to ask with regards to Reese's statement on security around the Ascendex thing. In terms of like security, when it comes to just the 2FA on the web wallet, are there plans to kind of build on top of that? Just due to the fact that like I keep most of like OMI tokens on a separate wallet like Trust or MetaMask, where there's like the seed phrase there. And when it comes to, I think, the web wallet, it's just email 2FA, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Now we are the protectors of the private keys that look after those wallets. So that's not really a security risk. We did touch on this earlier, but I'll happily go through it again. So, I mean, you should be treating any financial asset, any of these apps, any of these things as the most valuable things you own. So you don't want to be leaving your phone open. You should have extra security on your phone, let alone sort of surrounding your passwords and those kind of things. You should be using a password manager and regularly changing that password. All of these kind of personal security practices that will protect your assets are very important to have in your routine. But yes, we will be looking to implement other forms of 2FA. I did touch on this earlier, that the email 2FA is the most universal form of 2FA that we could use. A lot of people are new to crypto and probably don't understand or use the Authenticator app. And a lot of new people will continue to pour into this space, many of them through VeVe, before they find and understand the OMI token. So very important that you are changing your VeVe passwords regularly, as well as your phone access and all of those kind of things. But yes, we will look to implement other forms of 2FA as we move forward.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me up, and sorry you guys had to repeat yourself.
No problem at all. No problem at all. It's better to answer the same thing 1,000 times than for someone to make a mistake.
Yeah. And keep in mind, we will have 3 more of these sessions. So, if you feel like you missed something, or you just want to greater, understand a little better, and we don't get to your question in the voice chat or get you on stage, there will be 3 more chances to kind of go over the nuance here.
And that's this week,
that
correct?
said, yeah, well, there's one on Thursday on Twitter Spaces, ECOMI Twitter Spaces, and then another one next week, or another 2 next week, both on Discord and ECOMI Twitter Space. The full schedule is in the announcements channel here on Discord, or on both the ECOMI and VeVe Twitter accounts. So I know we mentioned the migration date, or the alluded to a migration date, but if you allow me to be Reese to Dan here and ask if we do have a date yet for the token migration.
No, the last week of January is when we'll open the swap, right, and do those things. Great. So between now and then, we're waiting on confirmation from a couple of the exchanges, just so that they're aware of the process. Now, regardless of the date that we set, the exchanges themselves may set a different date. So if we say, okay, we're going to open the swap site on a Monday, they might give you until Friday to deposit your GoChain tokens. And each exchange will make that decision. So it's important to probably log in, look at your OMI accounts when that's available, and if they're doing their job, they should have a banner there or some sort of notification to tell you that there's a migration taking place. And typically they'll give you a cutoff. You need to have your tokens deposited by midnight Thursday, something like that, right? And then it's just as likely that they will pause any sort of deposits, withdrawals, and trading, I would think at least for 72 hours, but it will depend on the exchange again, while they are swapping the tokens for you. Now, once that swap has taken place on exchanges in particular, you will only be able to send the new Ethereum OMI token to your exchange wallets when they re-enable things. You won't be able to send your GoChain OMI to the exchange, so just be aware of that. It shouldn't let you send it to them post-migration, but GoChain and Ethereum use the same root address structure. So if you do it by accident, you probably have to go through a very arduous process of contacting the exchange's support and trying to have those tokens attributed to your account. So just be aware of that. Once the migration is done, especially on exchanges, you'll only be able to send the new token to your exchange accounts.
Let's talk a quick use case here, and maybe perhaps another when question. As we wait for the next tiers of OMI utility program to be announced, let's say somebody has a fair amount of OMI that they would like to stake as well as move to an exchange for trading. What is, or they're using maybe a soft or cold storage wallet. What do you think is the best plan of attack in that instance? Because I know I have gotten this question a few times on social.
Yep, fair question. Look, it's hard to make a personal decision for a group of people, obviously, and this depends on how many OMI tokens you have. But at the moment, what have we made available? 3 staking tiers, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. The next 2 tiers will be higher. And this isn't confirmation, but let's just say they're 25,000 and 50,000 worth of OMI or something. So choosing which tier is the most appropriate for you will depend on, one, how much OMI you have, and if you want to use those features. So you may choose to split your tokens from the very start. You say, okay, well, I want to stake my $5,000 worth of OMI because I want these features. So you know straight away a rough value there. I would send more than that exact dollar value because you will need to account for that fluctuation in value if the price drops, things like that. And the rest you might just keep on layer 1 if you choose to sell. Now later, when the drop raffle is live, when market transactions are live using OMI tokens, you can always deposit more tokens into your VeVe wallet to use then. So if you're impatient, if you're unsure, if you want to use your tokens within the app, I would say swap them all to layer 1 and just be prepared to pay a gas fee later if you want to use them in the app. If you already know you're holding those tokens for life, which you should be, and you want to use them in the app, then you can probably make decide on a dollar figure or a token amount to send in early.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from the voice chat discussion before I bring another person up?
Yes. They would like to know if there's any change in this process with the ECOMI hard wallet.
Yes. It's not a change in the process. You will still need to send your tokens from your secure wallet, either to an exchange or to your VeVe app wallet, or you can keep them on there and use the swap site anytime you wish. Right? The new Ethereum OMI token is also available in the secure wallet, or it will be once the migration has taken place. But it's important to understand with our wallet specifically, both OMI tokens will be available on there. The GoChain OMI token will still be available and displayed, and the new Ethereum OMI token will be available and displayed. And that's because people do have the option to swap their tokens 6 months from now, 12 months from now, if they choose to. So we need to continue to make both available within the wallet. And I only mention that because if you are a secure wallet holder, you just need to be aware of that when you're returning your new tokens to the wallet. Make sure you're sending the new Ethereum OMI token to the Ethereum OMI token address on your secure wallet. But outside of that, you will still need to participate regardless of whether you're holding tokens on our wallet or another one.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Great. Let's move on to Diego on stage. Hello, Diego.
Hi, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yep, we've got you there.
Hi.
Okay. First, thank you, Granola, for taking my question and voicing that up. But I still need some sort of clarification. The first question is quite simple. Will the reserve wallet, the Vault wallet, and the Burn wallets stay in OMI layer 1, or will be some sort of layer 2 wallets for those?
Yeah, all of those wallets will port to layer 2 as all of our sort of OMI and VeVe transactions happen on Immutable X past that. But those wallets and those transactions are completely irrelevant to your experience. That's all just...
And the second one, as more rather as an investor, if I take my OMIs, let's say my GoChain OMIs, and I transfer them as layer 2, given that layer 2 OMIs won't be listed on exchanges, will have the same effect as removing them from circulating supply?
Not really. I mean, they're still circulating and still in somebody's wallet.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're still out there until you swap. Now, I just want to make this clear: you cannot deposit after the migration. You can't deposit your GoChain OMI tokens to your VeVe wallet. You have to bridge them or swap them before you can. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It was before the migration. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you for everything, not just for this, for everything you do.
We appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
Thank you, Diego. All right. Hi, Claire. How are you?
Hi. Yeah, it's just a quick question, really. Is sort of like the staking amounts, are they always going to be done as far as money and not OMI? For example, $10,000 as opposed to, say, 2 million OMI?
Yes. Yeah. Because if, as the price of, or, this is not confirmation, as the value of OMI rises, if we said, okay, well, this tier is 2 million OMI, and then the OMI price doubles or quadruples, but now you need 4 times the dollar value to achieve the same staking tier. So it would very quickly become unattainable.
That's why I'm trying to work out how much.
Yep. And on that, because it is based on the dollar value, or we'll confirm this in the next OUP article, you will need to be prepared if that value drops, to add to your stake to maintain those tiers. But we'll release more detailed information on that. And just for the people that are listening, obviously the idea of the staking program, outside of rewarding you, is to lock up some of that circulating supply. So theoretically, the more people that are staking, the more scarce the asset, the value should stabilize at the very least. But it probably means that the earlier you stake, the better position you stand to be in to weather those fluctuations.
Then just an idiot question, really. If you've got your OMI now in the ECOMI secure wallet, you move it to the exchange.
Yep.
After migration, you move it back to the secure wallet, and it can go to and fro to the exchange freely, but not to the VeVe app. Yes.
Correct. And then, to move it to the VeVe app later, you will send your tokens to your MetaMask wallet, and your MetaMask wallet will connect to our web wallet, and that will allow you to then deposit them into your VeVe app wallet.
Brilliant. Okay, Dale. Thank you very much.
No worries, Claire.
All right. Thank you, Claire. Let's move on to Metalface.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep. Hi.
Hey, firstly, thank you for bringing me up here. I'm a big, long-time fan, first time talking. I had a quick question. I'm a ECOMI secure wallet user, and I have a bunch of OMI in there. And I was just trying to send it to my VeVe app, and I'm getting an error saying receiver address required to fetch fee. Is that because I need Go in my VeVe address, or I have some Go in my ECOMI wallet?
No, it's a bug. It's there should be a banner on the secure wallet site. We have a new secure wallet app rolling out this week if the App Store overlords approve it. That will fix that issue. It also completely redesigns the user interface to make it all much easier. But right now that bug is there's an issue with the GoChain API that we're using, which is what it's not allowing it to fetch the correct gas fee, so it can't process. So it's not an issue on your end. It's an issue on our end, and the fix will hopefully be in your hands by the end of the week if all goes well.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you. I was just wondering if I had to send Go to my VeVe wallet. I just wanted to check with you before I did that. I won't do that. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Much appreciated. Have a great day, guys.
Thanks, man.
You too. Thank you. Okay, John Granola, any more questions from voice chat or OMI chat?
I mean, we have quite a few, and Granola, speak to this, please. But what I'm noticing here, Reese, in a lot of these questions, I think this speaks to, low barrier of entry. But there is, if I were to categorize the questions, there's a fair amount of questions of actions that ought to be done before migrations, and then actions that should be done after migration, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if I think to kind of if there's a way for you to speak into that as a catch-all, because that could help us answer a lot of these questions. For
Yes,
example, right after the migration, if I didn't use the token swap and I'm still holding OMI in the Go chain network, what does that process look like? So there are like, questions like that, and then a variety between.
for sure, for sure. So to answer that question first, if you don't do anything pre-migration and you're still holding the GoChain OMI token after the migration, you will need to use our token swap site. Now that swap site, I'll release the walkthrough as to how to use it later today for anyone that's kind of waiting, and hopefully that clears up these questions. But that swap site, I think it's just chainswap.ecomi.com. So you will always be able to use that site after the migration, and that will allow you to swap between your GoChain OMI tokens to the Ethereum OMI token. So if you miss the window, you have to manually migrate. Before the migration date, you have two options to swap your tokens that are essentially free and automatic. One is to send them to your VeVe wallet, which you can do now with the GoChain OMI token. And the second is to send them to your exchange accounts. And both processes will automatically swap them. Just to reiterate, if you send them to an exchange, they will be on layer 1. That lets you continue to use them on the exchange. If you send them to your VeVe app wallet, they will be on layer 2. That lets you use your tokens within the VeVe wallet. So they're the two options pre-migration. The token swap site is the third option that you can use post-migration if you don't participate now.
Perfect.
Now, as far as the wrapped OMI tokens,
Yes.
for those people, where do they fit into this?
Okay, so the wrapped OMI, you will be able to use the token swap site, chainswap.ecomi.com, and swap directly from the wrapped OMI to the new Ethereum OMI. So that will incur a gas fee, but it's a ERC20 to ERC20, so it's a bit less gas intensive and will be a cheaper transaction. But anyone who is holding the wrapped OMI token has probably used the swap site before, unless they purchased directly from Uniswap, and it's the exact same site. So anyone who wrapped their tokens originally, it's the same process. You should recognize and understand it. Anyone who hasn't used that site before, my walkthrough guide should take you through step by step. And I will release a video walkthrough as well once the site is live. If I do it now, it's using staging sites and may be a bit confusing. But once it's open, I'll release that too. Again, because you can use the swap site at any time after the migration. So it doesn't need to be the very first second that it opens.
Cool. John, didn't you have something else too?
I was just trying to scan here through the voice discussion chat. I think what Reese touched on before helps as a catch-all. And I would just say for many of us here who are token holders and are looking for answers to our questions, please visit the FAQ section. That'll probably help address a lot of this. Reese, here's a quick question for you. As we transition to L2 and ECOMI essentially becomes underpinned by Ethereum, that would essentially allow our OMI tokens to be held within any wallet that would support the Ethereum network. Correct? Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. The only thing you'll need to do, most Ethereum wallets, say Ledger and things like that, will automatically, populate with OMI. Right? It'll say it once you send it to your Ethereum address there. It automatically splits it between ERC20 tokens.
Right.
If you're using a wallet like MetaMask, you might need to add or import the custom token. To do that, you use the new token contract address, which will be available in the walkthrough guide that I will release later. I've also detailed how to add it to your MetaMask, how to switch between networks, all of those kind of things. But that's correct. Any wallet that supports Ethereum from that point on will be able to store your OMI tokens, and you should have access to them as long as you can add a custom token contract.
Perfect.
Okay.
Granola, did you have something?
No, I'm not. I'm not seeing anything new. Everything that he pretty much said touched on everything.
Okay, cool.
From what I'm seeing,
Okay.
yeah, it's all just kind of
All right, great.
variations of the same.
Reese,
Yep.
how long did you want to go with this? Did you want to just do the hour, and since we're doing 4 more, or did you want to continue to take stage questions?
Yeah, look, let's bring up some more stage questions. I'd rather answer everybody's question if I can, or as many as we can touch on. So maybe we'll do
Okay,
another 5
perfect.
of those. And then this recording, if someone's recorded this, we'll do it later. Otherwise, yeah, people can join us for the next sessions. And once I release this walkthrough guide, you may have more questions for me in the next ones, or you may want to listen back to a recording if other people ask questions. So just be aware of that too.
Also, one more quick thing. Can you just confirm again that the token swap site will be up at the end of January?
Yes. Sometime in the last week of January. Now, we will announce the exact date that will take place or will be open. Just to reiterate, you do not need to use the token swap site immediately. It is available indefinitely. So if that is the option you are choosing to swap your tokens, you will not need to do it as soon as it opens. So you don't need to rush and panic to that. The only things you need to do pre-migration date, if you are using the exchange option or the VeVe app option, is to send your tokens there before the date. The swap site you can use at any time after the date.
And then there's a couple questions about gem to OMI.
Gem to OMI is irrelevant to this conversation. That's not a it's not part of this. Yeah.
Gotcha. My bad.
No, that's fine. No, it's good to. There's no point diving into that at the moment. Okay.
Hello.
Hey, mate.
Did we get to Horace?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Hi. So yeah, my question was about new exchanges and sort of the question for now that once migration is completed, what sort of priority is getting it on new exchanges like Binance or Coinbase going to be? Are there any sort of prospective candidates that you guys are looking at? Is there a prospective timeline? That sort of thing.
Yeah. So exchanges, like most things we do, are under non-disclosure agreements. So we can't really speculate or say which ones we would like to list on or are aiming to list on. But once we have migrated and OMI is an ERC20 token, it makes that integration not a few clicks of a button, but for lack of a better term, much easier than integrating GoChain. So top priority. It's been a long time coming. We just need to get this migration out of the way, and then we can start listing and making the token available in more places.
Excellent. Thank you.
No problem. T Muggsy, have we got you up here?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep, got you there.
Hey, thanks for taking my question. So my question kind of goes along with the future of the OMI token after the migration.
Mhm.
I know you guys are doing staking to give benefits, obviously, when it comes to buying in the app and whatsoever. But have you thought about interest rates based on staking and things of that nature?
Yeah, so it gets pretty sticky. The OMI token is a utility token, right? And that utility has always been to use within the VeVe app, purchasing collectibles, all of those things. The moment you try to give out any sort of OMI token reward, or APY or APR, it moves that classification from utility token to security token, which would quite literally render everything we've ever done illegal, or against the financial regulations laws in every jurisdiction. So we've always tread very carefully as to how we distinguish and identify the token, and for that reason, we are not going to be offering OMI token rewards. Now, exchanges can do it, and any other service can use the token and offer rewards themselves, and that is because they are putting the token to work. That's really the distinguishing factor there, right? So some exchanges, as we move forward, will definitely offer you an OMI token reward. That's just how they operate, but it's important to understand they can offer you that reward because they are lending out your tokens or using them as a base of collateral. So to answer your question, we won't be offering that, but I would say it will become available on different platforms.
All right, I appreciate the answer. Thank you very much.
No problem.
And then I have one last pressing question from the audience that several people have asked. If your account is disabled on the app, will you still be able to withdraw your OMI tokens if it's in the app wallet, in the web wallet?
Yes, I would think so. We may need to build in some functionality to allow you to access that and nothing else, but we're not going to be holding onto your tokens or your money. They are your assets, and they are yours to control.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
All right. Let's see. Let's get just maybe a few more up here.
Yep. It doesn't look like there's too many left with hands up at the moment. So we'll cover those, and then we might call it a morning.
Great. Jay?
Yeah. Hello, guys.
Hey,
Thank
mate.
you for having me in. I'm from Switzerland.
Nice.
Just to follow up on the stacking you just mentioned, Rhys, if we are not able to have OMI on the layer 2, what will be the reward actually as a stacking? What we will get as a stacking on the VeVe app?
As a
reward, what I mean.
For staking?
I mean, when you stack on the exchange, you can have some free, not free OMI, but extra OMI. But if we stack on the VeVe app, what we will get?
Yep. So if you look on the ECOMI blog, medium.com/ECOMI, there is a very first look at the OMI utility program. It's called the OUP. I'll drop it in the voice chat. So that shows some of the rewards that you would be looking at for staking. Now, we are redesigning all of this and adding some new perks, 2 new tiers. So just keep an eye out for version 2. That will give you a more accurate guide as to what you'll receive for staking. But the whole idea is that it gives you access to particular collectible drops or rarities. Gives you access to transacting with OMI, all of those kind of things.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for everything.
All right.
And shout out to the whole team.
Thank you, Jay. Let's move on to LeBron. King James 23.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you for taking me. I had a question regarding wrapped OMI and OMI. I noticed a price discrepancy in that. I didn't know if once everything got finalized and everything, is there going to be a price discrepancy with the tokens? Because it's quite sizable.
Between right now, you mean? There's a discrepancy between wrapped OMI and OMI? Yeah,
I noticed yesterday that my portfolio dipped quite a bit, and then I looked at the price, and I think OMI was 0.053, and then wrapped OMI dipped all the way down to like 0.043, and it's still like 0.000, 0.003 difference right now, I think.
Yeah. So when the swap side opens, you'll be able to swap directly from wrapped OMI to the new OMI. That's a 1-to-1 swap. So the value at that point or any discrepancies is irrelevant. The only reason there's discrepancies now is that the wrapped OMI token is only available on Uniswap. And frankly, there's probably a lot of people that are not aware of that. We haven't been pushing people there recently because of the token migration, because it will just get a bit too messy. But once you swap your tokens to the new OMI token, it will be the exact same as what everybody else has and available on the same exchanges. So there shouldn't be any. There's no discrepancy there.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
No problem.
All right. I think with that, let's maybe wrap this session up. We have 3 more coming, and we can let Rhys get to the article he was promising us today. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining. There's, again, check the announcements channel and the ECOMI Twitter account to get the upcoming sessions. There will be one on Twitter Spaces later this week, as well as another one on Discord next week, and then a final one on Twitter Spaces next week as well. This is all happening, folks. It's good times, and we appreciate you being here and listening to all of the ins and outs of the token migration. Rhys, any parting words?
No, I think that's it. As always, please be wary of scams. Even posting in the ECOMI Telegram will usually get you contacted by at least 5 of them these days. So just be aware, we will never DM you first. We will never ask for private keys. Nobody should ever be asking you for private keys. So if you're new to crypto, just understand that that is the ultimate backup pass and the thing you need to protect above all else. Outside of that, we will recommence this on Thursday on Twitter Spaces, run through much of the same information, and I'll keep an eye on that voice chat discussion. I'm sure our mods will too if there's any other questions that come up, but hopefully we've answered the majority of those. If it wasn't as clear to you, maybe tune into another one of these sessions. The more you hear the terminology, the more you understand the layers to the migration, the easier it will be for you. But yeah, other than that, it's not something to be scared of. It's just something to understand before we move into it. So that's it. Thanks everybody for coming. Really appreciate it.